All righty. All right. Cool. All righty. So a couple quick things. I don't know if some of you probably saw the 090 release went out finally. So that's awesome. Really excited about that. Mostly just a sanitation, or not sanitation, I don't know. Just a cleanup release for the most part, but a lot of cool things snuck in at the last minute. We had our OIDC integration, as well as a few other big ticket items. Actually, I can go take a look. Let's see. Boom, boom. What? Oh, let me add people. What? Whatever. Did someone already add them? All right. Let me take a look at the. Am I sharing just a particular window? Let me stop doing that. Or share window. Here we go. All right. Is it sharing? Yes. No. What is it? Yeah. So let's take a look at the release. I've got wow. Oh my god. I see. This didn't get back weighted with the releases, but anyway. So yeah, a lot of stuff went in. So we got our agent sandbox support, ORDC proxy. We replaced Gorm, which is awesome. So those are the big ones. This one also just some really good like quality of life fixes as more and more people are starting to move to production. More and also a new model provider for those who are using SAP. So lots of great smaller features that people have been looking forward to. So excited about that, and a lot of fixes around skills as well. I know that the Capital One folks were really using those. So excited about that. Yes, I will add these, Dimitro. So that's my release. And then I can just post the, whoa, what happened? I'll post the link to the release notes. Cool. So that is all I have to share. So we can, the first thing I want to do is, I see that we have a new face here. So I wanted to give them an opportunity to say hello. Mesut, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Mesut from Germany. And yeah, I'm interested in Kagent, and then I'm working with Kagent for maybe 2-3 weeks. And I'm a member of Hami project and CNCF sandbox project. And I try to contribute to Kagent as well. It's a little bit late in Germany, therefore, yeah, I cannot join every week, but I will try it, and I want to active. I want to be active in the community. I mean, in Kagent project, and yeah, I try something and I publish something, and in real environment, in real instance, and I've shared in LinkedIn, in Slack, Discord, etc. And there are a couple of issues, and in GitHub. Yeah, I'm DevOps engineer. I have some experience with cloud and DevSecOps, and yeah, that's all. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Welcome. Yeah, I've been seeing all your PRs. A lot of them are pretty great. We've been trying to get to them as quickly as possible. There's been a lot of PRs coming in lately, so we're doing our best. A lot of excitement around Cage right now, so that's awesome. And welcome to the community.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about the timing. You know, it's impossible to get a good time because you got your West Coast folks coming in at 9 a.m. You got your East Coast folks coming in at noon, and then your European folks coming in at night. It's like, it's just, yeah. these community meetings are very, very hard to schedule. So, all right. So the next thing on our list is Dimitro.
Yeah, it's basically just a small update. What we discussed several times before about the durable execution and so on. And I was like checking the announcements and things. And there are a couple of updates on the ADK documentation regarding this. Specifically, if you go one step back, so there are like 3 options currently for the resilience and retries. One is, let's say, default ADK, which is just a plugin included, which is automatically trying to understand and retry. Second one is restate. It's an external framework, and also temporal is an external solution for the durability. And I think right now temporal is supported only by Python, but it gives a nice annotations for activities and workflows. Restate, I haven't checked so much. I'm not sure what is there ready or not, but it looks like Go SDK is a bit behind, so we don't have it in Go yet. So that's my current understanding. So with all of this, the question is like, what is the direction for us? So maybe like the default Kagent implementation may stay pretty much the same as now. We have our controller and database doing everything. We might consider this retry plugin if it's helpful for us, maybe just a feature flag to enable disable, or let's see how much effort it's or benefit it gives us. And I think for the direction for the temporal, which I was checking from my side, we might just keep it as a kind of bring your own example for now, just as an alternative image with temporal implementation. And basically, I can provide some like samples with that image, and maybe we can just have some people who are interested in temporal will use it. Yeah, but the bottom line, I think we should not select one. We should probably keep the design open for different options, like at least 2 or 3, and wanted to discuss and to hear opinions from others.
Sorry, I'm just looking through this documentation really quick. Boom, 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 boom. So does this use, okay, what's the restate plugin? Where does restate plugin go?
Yeah, they have Go SDKs, and also they had announcements from ADK earlier, I think in January, about support. So this is like the most common used durability execution frameworks available.
Restate and temporal?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if these are just plugins, then it seems like the best thing to do, yeah, is just to offer them, kind of have like a, you know, a layer, you know, that says this is how you know, this is a resilience layer or something like that. I don't know. What do you think about that?
The main question for me right now, if let's say we have a default implementation with a controller, right? And then if I want to swap to the temporal, should I still update the controller with all the calls, like keep it in the loop, or we should just switch completely to the worker mode? Or maybe we should align the controller to work in the similar way as temporal is working. Basically, it's changed a little bit the architecture, so we are not like running things in the worker and then we are pushing it back to the controller. It's like controller is sending tasks from outside. You know, it's a bit different model, like push versus pull, maybe, or how to say, right? So yeah, it's still something we need to align between all these options. But I think if we will have support for at least 2 or 3 of them, it will give us more better architecture, better responsibility separation between different components, and so on.
So you say push, like, why would this
Like
change
the main
push
use case,
model?
the main use case. Okay, let's from functional point of view. Okay, let's say my agent crashed, right, completely.
Mhm.
So right now, if agent crashed, the only loop we have is inside the pod, right? There is
Yep.
no external functionality, which is restarting the workflow, doing replay, and then continue, right? This is the problem. And this is the reason why the durable execution for the long-running task is required, because it's looking on the what already run. It's, for example, there is a nice functionality where you can check all the inputs and all the actions in the same flow, and you can cache the responses. So basically, you can have a cache of all the LLM calls which you had until now, and tools calls and everything, and then your replay is super fast. So you basically you crash, you restart, you just go back to the point that you crashed, and you continue, and you are not like spending tokens again, and so on and so on. So our current architecture is not like that. So if we crash, we lost everything. So we need to start a new session. And the proposal is to try to align it. Maybe
technically true, actually, right? Because with the LLM, it does store all the previous terms and tool calls, so it won't repeat like another tool call. Like everything is kept up to the last LLM call.
It depends on also depends on which LLM API we have. If we have the completion, or if we have the responses, it's a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
It's more complicated than that because
we don't store the response. Well, we don't store responses, but if we did, then I mean, that's just based on a session token. They store that stuff.
Yes, correct.
But anyway, yes.
And the latest OpenAI models, they switch to that responses model where they store it like on their side, and then in order to work with it and resume, we need to see how this should work together. But that's another problem. Okay, let's just discuss the resume itself, right? Do we want to make a default Kagent implementation more durable and be able to recover, or we are saying, okay, if you want something durable, you need to use temporal or restate? What is our direction
personally here? Personally, I would like to make it pluggable, because then, as much as I would like to say Kagent can do everything, Kagent can't do everything. There's just there's not enough hours in the day. And I think that people are going to have different requirements. For example, even you messaged me about teams at your company wanting to use Argo workflows. Right? Like, I think people are going to use different solutions. And so, I would like to be able to plug into them. And being able to literally use plugins is a nice way to do it. And having, an opinionated version saying like, oh, this is like, we make it easy to work with one, but you can work with others. And, as people build more plugins, etc., you can just use them.
Yeah, I agree.
The complicated thing will just be, is there a way to integrate?
But just to make it pluggable, to make it easier, right? Maybe we can look on architecture of both solutions, like temporal and restate, and see if we can maybe align the default implementation with what they have. And if we have the same interfaces, the same worker, mode, then maybe the plugins will work much easier. So we will not have this too much work on swapping. And I agree. We should not take like one. We should be flexible. We should have different implementations.
Can it be set up so that the worker and the server that receives the A2A request are just the same, or would we have to run a separate worker pool and the A2A server?
I think worker is per agent currently, the namespace and everything. So if you have like right now the agent definition, right? So if you have more replicas, means you will have more workers. but they will be in the same namespace, and you need to be able to send the. It's actually the same problem here we have with load balancing, and if you have more replicas, and we will have to send the A2A to the right worker, right?
Oh, is that true?
So in this worker model, right, the point is that like the agents are picking up, they're essentially picking up their tasks from the server, right? They're like, this is the point that I'm at. This is what I need to do now.
I think
Versus
The model of temporal is you submit a task and then it like sends the task to the backend workers, and then you like wait for the task to finish, but you don't necessarily run the task on the same process that submits the task, because the workers have to run the tasks. And then if you like go away, like you disconnect or any process crashes, like temporal will just look at the list of tasks that it was running before, and it'll retry those tasks on maybe another worker or whatever, right? So that's kind of where it gets a bit tricky integrating that with the way that Kagent currently operates.
So temporal will need to record all the inputs for each activity, LLM, tool call, and it tracks the session as a workflow. So basically, if you crash, it will look on the uncompleted sessions workflows. We'll see what is in progress in flight. And if the worker was restarted, something happened, so worker can pick up those and then continue from in flight.
One thing I realized when I was thinking about this, though, is that a lot of the time in Kagent, and in particular, you connect to the agent, and then you tell it like, here's the message, right? And then it sends the LLM, it does some tool calls, and then it returns the reply back to you all in the same connection. If that worker crashes, the client has no way to reconnect and say like, oh, hey, like that thing we were working on, like what's going on? You know, it doesn't work that way in Kagent right now. You can't.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like the technology is not there. It just doesn't work in Kagent, right? It doesn't.
No, we don't have support for this by design, right? So this is the point.
that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem we're trying to address. Okay, so I think for now it's enough if everyone just maybe you can look on it and maybe we can discuss it next time. Just try to look on these solutions, and I'll just want to say that we don't want to pick something opinionated and then push everyone to use it. We want to keep it kind of optional, and then default will stay the same, but maybe we will need to change our defaults to be more pluggable, to more kind of durable as well. By, you know, if like what we discussed, if we will have the same functionality like durable execution inside Kagent default implementation, maybe that will be enough, right?
Right. And you're saying we could do like a base version with, you know, where was
with
it?
with a worker model. Yeah. Okay.
Like
One
this.
thing.
I think you could. I mean, speaking of resilience, I think you could get a lot. You could probably get like 99% of what people need if we just had better retry and reconnect in the system you have now. Like
Which is this
agent UI,
plugin.
if something goes wrong, it just doesn't. It could just, in theory, you could just like reconnect and just say like, hey, like what were you doing? You know, can you continue or just resubmit the same message again? That kind of thing. Whereas right now, it just says error.
We can define different level of resilience, right? There is a crash of tool call or crash of LLM. If LLM, for example, like you said, you run in some rate limit and then you need to switch to different LLM, reroute it, you know, different 500 logic. So that could be like done on the level of activities, but that means that agent is still alive. And there is another resilience when you completely crashed and you restore it. And maybe you have some 100 of processes running for many hours, you know? This is like, if you're running like 1 hour, 2 hours, and you have 100 processes like this, it will be very difficult to go into each of them and recover, right? So it's no go. So like if you run like a complex SDLC agents doing something in between and so on and so on. It's like, it's not only that it's recovery is not possible, but it's also expensive because you would need to rerun all these extra hours again, and you don't have guarantee that you will finish it again. So
the state in the context, right? So if you have that session the only thing you have to submit is the last, everything since the last LLM call, I thought.
Not
Recorded.
Not always. Sometimes it's last one. If it's in completion, it's usually the last one.
I wouldn't say there's no use case for temporal, but I feel like there's almost like a few steps that have to be done.
Yeah.
Just in the K-agent baseline operating model or protocol, just to get like just even simple.
Look,
you lost connection. I want to reconnect or something.
Yeah. And for this one, for simple recovery, there is this first option, this reflect and retry plugin. We can see how much it solves the issue. Maybe it will solve.
It doesn't look like it's only tool calls, so it doesn't help with the agent crashing. It doesn't help with LLM errors, like if the LLM's overloaded. So it's pretty limited.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like to. Yeah. I mean, for myself, what I would like to see is just the UI like reconnecting. That would be like step one. Like just I reloaded the page. That already like kills. You lost all your everything just by reloading the page or navigating through different sessions right now. So that would be like step one, where it tries to at least load the state and like reconnect the subscription.
Well, frankly, to me at least, part of the problem is that everything is connection bound. Like I just think, I don't know. Like I kind of agree with Dimitra that like the fact that everything is connection bound is such a limitation, right? It's like because these things happen regardless, right? It's like it feels like such a waste to have to be connected in order for these things to be happening, So like there's actually multiple layers to it of like really probably what the system should be doing is nothing should be connection based, but instead you like have asynchronous processes where like the agent is doing its thing regardless of what your connection state is.
Yep.
And you can kind of subscribe to the messages. That's great. You're getting the messages, but this is not bound by you at all. Right.
Yeah. But that means we will get rid of like A2A in the middle. We can keep it externally. Like for example, if you have external multi-cluster or something, you can use A2A. But internally, we can switch to the event-based, like what we discussed. Another alternative is to use something like NATS as a communication between the agents, between everything, and then keep everything just asynchronous and event-based.
Yeah.
Which is,
I think, fundamentally, I think we need to move towards. I don't even have a specific, but like fundamentally, I think we need to move towards a model where it's doing its thing regardless of your connection status. So,
and then in this case, durability will be the queue durability. So every agent will have kind of a queue for external calls, internal calls, everything. And we will have like workers in the more classical way, right? So like message workers. Which is,
if you go down that road, then it feels like, why would you reinvent the wheel if you could have just used temporal, which already works that way? Because you create a task and you wait for it to finish, and
we don't
reconnect the same task.
Again, we don't want to bring someone opinionated. Not every organization will agree to temporal. Maybe someone is already using restate, or someone use some other solution, or even Kafka, maybe, or
but then who would want to use your custom solution that's not temporal? You're just going to end up with the third solution. We didn't want to standardize on temporal or restate, so we created our own standard.
No, we want to make it pluggable. I think the idea is to make it pluggable, to make it possible, even if you will decide that you have, I don't know, completely different implementation. And there are a number of those implementations out there, right? So you can have like, I don't know, Red Panda or whatever, like ClickHouse or something else. I have no idea. But it's I think we should not dictate or like.
You have to add the requirement that you're using at least one of these, right? Because the protocol will be completely changed. So now the protocol will be, start this task and then give me an ID for that task, and then I'm going to check back later. I'm going to wait for it. That kind of thing would be great. It's not the way A2A works.
Right. We need to understand it better. And I think the point that Ethan just mentioned, and thank you for reminding the discussion. Yeah, this could be like a more suitable event-based architecture could be more suitable for this case. Like we can have communication between agents. We could have also integration with different like social messengers, I don't know, channels, and so on and so on. Yeah. Okay, I think second topic was slightly different. It was, let's switch maybe to that one. Is in general, there are a number of agent patterns which are supported by ADK, and they are well documented here. You can see all of them with a sequential, with parallel, with fan out, and so on and so on. Right now, in order to do it, you need to use the bring your own agent. And this is what we had to do as well. We had to write like a Python bring your own with all these smaller sub-agents and then run it together, which is, if you look on the final implementation, it's very little code, let's say. Most of it could be could become a declarative agent very easily. But right now, we don't have this option to run it in Kagent. And I think that's like a big limitation, because in real projects, when you want to have, let's say, coordinator and then fan out to run multiple other things, or you want dynamically construct this like a workflow using ADK, we don't have support for this. And fundamental question is like, should we run it in the same agent pod with all these multiple sub-agents, and then how this will be supported by our executor? Or should we, if we do it declarative, it will mean automatically we will have for each of those small sub-agents, we will have a new pod, which is brings those like ephemeral pods, like for example, here you have a sequential agent, right? Is it a pod or is it a, there is no such thing, right?
So I have two thoughts about this. I think it's both, potentially. And I'll explain what I mean. I think like you could have the ability to have like a, I forget the word I'm thinking of in English, but sort of a, like let's say a CRD, which allows you to combine multiple agents into a
multi-agent system, right?
Multi-agent system, which will do it with existing agents, right? It will actually call out to remote agents, bring their things, whatever. Or, right?
Let me comment on this, okay? So in the current implementation of A2A that we have, we tried a few times like this, and we've seen issues where this A2A and agent discovery took much longer. It's like there is like a clearly performance issue. So if you run everything in one pod and you start it as a one ADK, you have this also advantage of the context keys. You can see on those examples, each agent has kind of a key which is then storing the result of previous execution, and then you can use it in the next one. You see? Yeah, it's output key. So this output keys, it's important thing how you manage the context. So in the current A2A, we don't have that kind of clear support how this will be used in this communication. And another thing, like from performance point of view, if you run everything in one pod, it looks much more ADK native, and it works fine. If you run it with A2A, we didn't reach the stable solution there. It was actually, we tried a few times, but it was not working well. For simple cases, if you just have, like, say, coordinator and you want to delegate, call some agent, it's fine. But then also in UI, you almost see nothing. In UI, you see waiting. There is no communication back. We don't have propagation of tool calls and everything. In this situation, even like I doubt if A2A is the right protocol. Maybe like ACP could be a good one.
We added nested tool calls, but either way, I still agree with what you're saying. I wonder. The problem is then, if you define, like, yeah, I also, it might make sense to just be able to define more agents in line. The problem is just, how, yeah, I do think we need to figure this out. I don't know what the answer is, but I do think we need to figure it out. I think you're right. Doing it remote is probably really hard. But then if you point to another agent object and you're running and you have that agent object just so you can use it as a template, that also sucks. Right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is there.
No, but we have current support of remote. I think it's already there. The question is like if we agree that we need to extend the current CRD definition of declarative to allow those extra subagents. This is the first question. And if we agree to that, then basically we can just take this article with all kind of different examples and maybe build a sample repo with with this kind of demo examples of different agents, and then bring it into CRD, and then verify that everything works as expected. Because
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dimitri, do you want to put together a potential API?
Yeah. I would like actually to, because I was working already on this and then I put it on hold. Now with all the latest Go SDK and everything, I will be happy to work on that.
Okay. Cool.
Can I ask a live question? I personally haven't tried this. Don't Kagent support like multiple agents? I thought there is a way to define in the YAML where you could call other agents.
As a tool call. Yes, as a tool call. Yeah. As a tool call, and it's actually...
someone already has a pull request open for this feature. You can review that as a proposal.
So why would somebody, maybe help me understand, why would somebody use calling it as a sub-agent as a tool?
So first of all, if you run everything inside one single process with all these LLM agents, which are then combined in the simple workflow, it works better and faster. So there is no tax of the external network communication and other stuff. And it has all these features like output key, context, which ADK is designed for this. So this is feature of ADK. So it's just like I'm saying that right now in Kagent, we use only small subset of what ADK provides by design. And if anyone who is using ADK, for example, I'm as a developer, I can take ADK and I can build it locally without running Kubernetes. I can run it just with ADK server, okay? And we have some developers who start to work like this, and then later on, they want to move it to the Kagent, right? So they develop it as a one single ADK process. They don't have all this communication, multiple things deployed. They just develop a regular ADK application, right? And this is one of the benefits because your developer experience is different. You can do everything as a simple, one application, one program, and then later when you are ready, you can say, okay, now I can deploy it in Kagent as a something.
Okay, and your sub-agent, would that be reusable by multiple agents, or it's just for that particular agent?
I think this is more like inline sub-agent in this case, and they here you have just a one agent for outside, and several sub-agents internally which are handling the different things. And I think if I try to do it as external, basically I did one PR where I broke it into multiple agents, and I use A2A. First of all, it was very slow, and second, we are getting those agents which we don't really want to see. They need to be hidden. It's like the opposite. We start to see in Kagent list something which doesn't make sense. It's just makes sense for one single flow internally.
So that's what I was saying about templates. Like I feel like if you wanted to go down this road, you would really want a new concept of like an agent template, which would just be the agent information and not the agent itself, right? So that you could include it in various different agent workflows rather than having like a whole deployed agent just for the purpose of this one workflow.
Like a reference? You mean we can...
We have a template. We have prompt templates already though. Using config map.
Yeah,
with prompt templates. I'm saying like an agent template, which would be like a combination agent tool, whatever, right? And then you could just take that and then you could like have a list. So your workflow could include 4 templates
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
in various configurations, but those templates wouldn't spin up entire agents. They would just be basically agents ready to go, right? They would be like a blueprint or whatever of what an agent could be, but they're not actuated, right? They're just waiting. They're just like a configuration of what your agent could and should be, but it's not running yet. And so
Yes.
then you could include it, you could run it on its own, or you could run it as part of a workflow, or you could run it in a sandbox, right? You could do whatever you want.
Yeah, so we can refer to that template without like copy pasting too much. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
We don't have
Yeah,
to
so-
do that for V1, but I'm just saying out
No,
loud.
it makes sense.
That's
Makes sense.
Yeah, appreciate the context. Sorry, I joined a few minutes late. Have we had chance to welcome some of the new members join today?
Yep, we welcomed Masood, and I think
Yeah.
Josh has been here before. So
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Just want to make sure because I know Masood has been doing some work between Kagent and also integration with Hamid. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, finally.
And yeah, this workflow agent, there was a pull request open, as someone pointed out in the chat comment. Someone already did it exactly as Dimitri, or almost exactly as Dimitri described it. So
Well, so that guy's doing it with the remote, right? And that's the sort of thing that
it says in
no?
process request.
Oh,
No, so the way so I did a quick review. He's one of the person from Capital One who's in here last week, but he's not here today. And the way he's doing it is with the inline workflow agent. So basically, you define like the inline thing, and then they all spin up in the same pod.
cool.
And there are a lot of problems. So I commented like, I hope that he was here so we can discuss like the things in detail. But the high level idea was what Dimitri was suggesting at first. So you define like different sub agents in a process, and it runs the process, basically translating to like pretty much the code here in ADK. And so I think that like this agent workflow itself, which consists of like these inline sub agents, can be exposed like as another A2A agent for like other agent to like call this workflow. But yeah, but the idea is like the workflow itself is like a modular unit, at least the way this person did it. I think one immediate problem, if I recall properly, was setting like the output key and stuff. Because if we want to do it declaratively as like sub agents, this would be like, well, this would be something that he has to solve explicitly, and he didn't. So, and the exit condition as well, with like loops and stuff. So these are like stuff that they're still missing in that PR, and they're like pretty important if you wanted to like make the workflow customizable. And we probably also went about, because in example, right, they're using like these curly braces to reference like output keys, and we probably also want to like validate or like do something with that if the output key is not there, like yeah.
Can you link this PR to the note?
It's in the chat. It's in the chat. I sent it in the chat.
Yeah.
We should add it to the notes.
Yeah. Let's
And the API
Oh, it's a
he
good idea.
proposed wasn't like the best, but yeah. So I hope that we can discuss that. But essentially, the way he did it is like as like a sub view on the declarative agent. But I think it's better if we have like, if we don't put it on the declarative agent, because you know the declarative agent are like the LLM agents, and workflow agent are fundamentally like different in ADK. So it will be confusing if we try to like put both on the same declarative agent.
Yeah. So it should be, you're saying it should be a different CRD type, right? And then
That's what I'm suggesting. Yeah.
yeah.
Or
right.
well, it could also just be like type workflow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. Type workflow. Yeah.
I think that would be good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dimitri,
That's
do you want to review this PR and maybe if it's
Yeah, we
bad,
can-
you can just start a new one. But
Look.
it would be good. I think he also wants to become a part of the community. So if you want to, we can just help him get it over the line.
Sure, it's okay. Yeah.
Did he create an issue for this, or is it just the PR? I was talking
There was
to
an
him
issue.
about this.
There was an issue for
There's an
this,
issue.
like a long time ago.
A
from
long
Dimitri.
time. Oh, from
Yeah.
Dimitri.
Yeah, I was like, I had a couple of spins, with these implementations, and they didn't work well.
Yeah. Jason has some great. I'm interested in that one. I'm also, Josh, I know you're here. I'm also interested in this one. The prompts and resources. I haven't gotten a chance to look at it, but I am interested in adding support for that. So yeah.
What would because normally the prompt just means like in the UI you can type like / something and load that prompt. Is that what the idea was with the prompts?
The idea is that it can dynamically discover prompts, or you. So you can basically. There's a number of things where you can you can say I want to use this prompt from this server, or you can have an MC a manager agent that says, oh, okay, these are the prompts I have access to. I think this one would be the best one for this situation or whatever. Right, and
wait a second. You have like a history of prompts, right? So if you are working with a specific agent, most likely you have already like a all history, what was used.
No, I know, but MCP has a prompts functionality. So you can. Yeah. One thing I'll say, I recently created an MCP server that ships with some prompts specifically aimed at helping the LLM work with those tools.
Yeah, right? I know. It's like a skill. It's like the equivalent of the skill. By the way, the agent gateway had a. This is not implemented feature for them. If you plug it there, it doesn't work.
I know.
But the MCP documentation specifically says that the prompts are user-controlled prompts. Like it's just a way for the user to select a prompt and then fill in the template variables and then send that to the agent. It's not meant for skill discovery or anything like that. That's a whole other ballgame. That's a whole other camp.
Yeah, well, technology is in the eyes of the beholder. Porque no los dos, Dobes. That's what I say.
Okay.
But yes, I think both, right? It would be nice to have that like a prompt library that you can say you can decide and fill in the, that's cool. But I think anyway, I'm interested in it regardless. I feel like we should support all the MCP resources.
I've seen this how it works in the Next.js DevTools MCP. They have really nice way of handling these prompts and everything. And yeah, it's a powerful feature actually. By the way, if you are doing customizations in UI and you are not using this Next.js MCP, I highly recommend to try.
Makes sense.
Okay, we're out of time, no? I think.
Yes, we are out of time. Does anyone else have anything they want to talk about, or are we good to go?
I just want to say I open a ticket or in a PR, let's say PR under community. Maybe you have seen before. I can share in the chat. No, I cannot. I share my screen.
Yeah, I see your PR, number 14.
You see. Oh, you see. Okay, great.
Okay, so I think the challenging though, Adrian, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if we have a formal process to add a member. I think we might have documented requirement is have one merge PR, which sounds like you already do. But I don't think we have an automated process to add a member. Maybe Dimitro, because you've gone through this too.
Not on the Kagent repo.
I think Dimitro got added to tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. We and again, I think this is so we have the contributors meeting on Thursday. Actually, I'd love to discuss this. Because I think we need to firm up that process as well as our our grooming process now that Jason is interested in becoming a part of the community and things like that. So I think if you want to join on Thursday, Mesut, we can dig more into this question.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just want to know what are the requirements, what should I do, etc. It would be better. Therefore, I wanted to ask it. But I think it is not clear. It is not documented. The requirements.
Yeah, and I think it's also part of the CNCF like acceptance process, right? We have to align this all parts.
Yeah, we need
exactly.
a process for sure. We're going through incubation too. So maybe ping me when you have the meeting. I'd like to join because I think right now there needs to be multiple roles, not just maintainer, which is a much higher bar. We need a contributor role, which would be a very low bar because in Istio it's like one PR merge just to show you are a human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think, to be honest, as I was telling Josh and Jason last time, the biggest thing is just show up to a meeting so we know you're a human.
I think it's becoming, by the way, it's becoming a problem. I've heard several projects already implementing this reputation thing. It's like you actually automatically checking the PR person who contributes if he already has accepted PRs in the project, other stuff. Otherwise, it might be rejected.
Yeah, sure. Yep. I mean, you know, the reason there are two reasons why I'm here today. Number one is I communicated with Lynn, and then Lynn say it will be better if you are joining in the session, etc. That's number one. Number two, I have watched the previous videos, and then you said maybe last week or maybe 10 days ago, I don't know. You said, Eitan, it will be better if I see the person in the session. Therefore, I am here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I checked the videos. I know your ideas.
Good. Yeah, no, it's real. I don't know who's real. I just don't.
We appreciate that.
You could even be fake now, but it's much less.
I'm an agent.
You know, much less likely. So
yeah, you're definitely right. Yeah, I agree with you.
Wait one more year.
I know. I don't want to. Yeah, I know, Seb. All right. So we're going to talk about this on Thursday. We're already a little bit over time. So it's great speaking with everyone, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.